a memorial for the victims of the attack on Tuesday that killed 8 people and injured 12 others in Lower Manhattan. President Trump said on Twitter that the suspect, Saipov, should be executed. Hiroko Masuike. The New York Times want to get this briefing by email. Here's the sign-up. Good morning. Here's what you need to know inside the New York terrorist plot. Saipov, 29, started planning a year ago for the attack that killed 8 and injured 12 others, choosing to carry it out on Halloween because more people would be on the streets, federal prosecutors said. Mr. Saipov, who came to the U.S. from Uzbekistan in 2010, led a rootless life that eventually turned to radical Islam. He did not learn religion properly, one imam said. Although the charges Mr. Saipov faces describe him as a student of Islamic State propaganda, the militant group has not claimed responsibility for the rampage. Rukmini Callimachi, who covers ISIS for The Times, explains why. Our video shows how quickly Tuesday's attack unfolded, and a map traces the truck's path. Trump urges death penalty in attack. President Trump declared late Wednesday that the suspect in the New York attack should be executed. The comment could hurt the prosecution of Saipov, as it can be used by defense lawyers to argue that their client cannot get a fair trial. The president also denounced the U.S. criminal justice system as a joke. Here's more and pressed Congress to cancel an immigration program that allowed Mr. Saipov into the country. We explain how the diversity visa lottery works. Our chief White House correspondent, Peter Baker, notes while the White House deemed it unseemly to have a policy debate on gun control immediately after the massacre in Las Vegas last month, Mr. Trump was eager on Wednesday to have a policy debate on immigration, not angry at anybody in Russia inquiry. President Trump called The Times on Wednesday to say that the inquiry into his campaign's links to Russia had not come near him personally. I'm not under investigation, as you know, Mr. Trump said. He also disputed a Washington Post report that described him as angry at everybody, and in a video, our journalists in Washington discussed the indictments filed on Monday in the investigation. Harassment allegations pile up. On Wednesday, the producer and director Brett Ratner became the latest Hollywood figure to be accused of UAL misconduct. Separately, Michael Oreskes, the top news editor at NPR and a former Washington bureau chief at The Times, resigned after being accused of UAL harassment. Britain's Defense Secretary, Michael Fallon, also resigned in the growing outcry over claims of inappropriate behavior by members of Parliament. Michael Fallon in March, saying he had fallen below the high standards that we require of the armed forces, he stepped down as the British Defense Secretary on Wednesday. Ben Stancil. Agence France-Presse. Getty Images. Amid the recent allegations of UAL misconduct, women who came forward during the presidential race with accusations against Donald Trump said they felt forgotten. A defamation lawsuit could change that. 3 killed in Colorado Walmart shooting. The gunman was still at large late Wednesday after the police said he walked into a store in suburban Denver, fired randomly and walked out again. The Daily. A terrorism suspect in a visa lottery. President Trump is pushing to cancel the visa program that brought the suspect in the New York truck attack to the U.S. Listen on a computer, an iOS device or an Android device. Business. A math problem lies at the heart of the Republican tax overhaul. Sharp cuts would mean limiting popular individual tax breaks. The House is expected to unveil its bill today. Frustrated American lawmakers released scores of political ads bought by Russian agents on Facebook and Twitter that show the extent of the Kremlin's attempts to polarize voters. The iPhone X arrives in stores Friday. Is it right for you? That depends. Our reviewer says, U.S. stocks were mixed on Wednesday. Here's a snapshot of global markets. Smarter living tips, both new and old, for a more fulfilling life. Team up with an accountability partner. Better than a punch in the nose. Google's alternative to passwords may be a better way to safeguard your accounts. Recipe of the day. White bolognese is a delicious spin on an Italian classic. Noteworthy 36 hours in Latino New York City. In today's 360 video, take in the Latino influences that can be found throughout the city's cultural scene. Houston has a World Series title. The Astros won their first championship in the franchise's 55-year history, beating the Los Angeles Dodgers 51 in Game 7. Cameron Maybin, left, and George Springer celebrated after the Houston Astros won the World Series on Wednesday. Springer was named the most valuable player of the series. Harry Howe. Getty Images. Every city wants a World Series victory. 9 weeks after Hurricane Harvey, Houston needed one. Breitbart's Man of Style. You won't find John Binder in the front row of the season's hottest shows. Nor is he likely to get much love from the left-leaning fashion establishment. But delivering tart commentary is all in a day's work. Mr. Binder is a fashion critic for Breitbart News. John Binder at his home in Slidell, La. The painting behind Mr. Binder is a portrait of him painted by his sister, Edmund D. Fountain, for the New York Times Best of Late Night TV. The comedy hosts discuss President Trump's idea for naming the Republicans' tax bill the cut tax quotation of the day. In 30 years, we have to go on a trip. Christian Chancha, recalling a pledge by 10 high school graduates in Argentina to celebrate their 30-year reunion somewhere special. The group chose New York City, where 5 of them were killed in Tuesday's terrorist attack. Mr. Chancha did not make the trip. 8 of the 10 friends who celebrated their 30th high school reunion in New York are pictured on Saturday at the airport in Rosario, Argentina. Trevisan family, via Associated Press backstory. 60 years ago this week, the first animal was launched into orbit, Laika, a stray dog from the streets of Moscow. On November 3, 1957, Soviet scientists covered Laika in a special spacesuit, placed her in the Sputnik 2 satellite and sent her toward the heavens. Laika boldly went where no dog had gone before. Tasked via Agence France-Presse, Getty Images, she barked greetings to her aunts into the microphone, according to a Times report at the time, citing Soviet news reports. Laika never returned. Questions about her fate were resolved only in 2002, when it was revealed that she died hours after launch. In 1960, another Soviet mission sent K9 cosmonauts into orbit. This time, they returned to Earth safely. The dogs, Belka and Strelka, traveled in separate compartments, connected by a window. Rats, mice and flies were also on their flight. In 1961, Jacqueline Kennedy, the U.S. First Lady, asked the Soviet leader, Nikita Khrushchev, about the dogs, and he ordered one of Strelka's puppies to be sent to the White House as a gift. One of President Kennedy's other dogs, a Welsh Terrier, soon bonded with the Soviet puppy, and they had 4 puppies of their own, which Kennedy called pupniks. Patrick Bowler contributed, reporting, ____________. Your morning briefing is published weekdays at 6 a.m. Eastern and updated all morning. Browse past briefings here. If photographs appear out of order, please download the updated New York Times app from iTunes or Google Play. What would you like to see here? Contact us at briefing@nighttimes.com. You can get the briefing delivered to your inbox Sunday through Friday. We have 4 global editions, timed for the Americas, Europe, Asia and Australia. Check out our range of free newsletters here.